All right, welcome to another episode of Warrior versus Zombie. And today I have another amazing warrior, as always, Tom Ginn. I'll come back to him in a second. But first, let me tell you why you're here. Success is a journey, it's not a destination. As warriors, we all have a history of ups and downs, wins and losses that are all part of making us who we are up to this point, and they provide a foundation for our path forward. We all battle our inner zombie as well as those zombies in our world. And in each episode, I interview warriors who are aspiring leaders from all walks of life: entrepreneurs, artists, health practitioners, business owners, literally any inspired leader that has a story to tell. These warriors have a cause, they have unique value, and a vision that goes generations into the future. And today's warrior guest is no exception. Tom Ginn is an awesome warrior. As a seasoned entrepreneur of over 4 decades, his warrior journey began when he felt his role as a labor contract negotiator in corporate America was not going to work out as well as he wanted to, and he ventured into financial services industry. There, he developed a passion for helping others to achieve financial success, which led him to become a financial coach at Dave Ramsey Solutions, a big fan of Dave Ramsey, and a Bob Proctor certified coach in personal development, both men that I truly adore. Throughout his warrior journey, Tom has focused on network marketing and affiliate marketing, recognizing that these business models are powerful tools for financial security and freedom for anyone willing to learn and serve others. Most recently, Tom discovered BeeKonnected while live streaming and realized that it offered the perfect platform for business development. Now, with an unwavering commitment, he has made it his mission to share his knowledge and expertise with other entrepreneurs, showing them how to leverage BeeKonnected for their own business success. Tom Ginn, welcome to Warrior versus Zombie. And we're on a similar mission there, so I love that. So tell me, how are things in Wisconsin today? What's going on in your world?
Well, actually, here in Wisconsin today is one of those perfect fall days. Uh, Low 70s, no humidity. The trees are starting to change color, so you can't ask for a better environment than what's happening here in Wisconsin as far as weather. But I'm so grateful for this opportunity today to be part of your um, program today. So I can't wait to get going here in a bit.
Well, I know you're chomping at the bit. I love the fact that you said it's a perfect day there in Wisconsin. We're closer today than we would have been yesterday. So I'm in the 80s right now, and we actually have a little bit of humidity because we had to have rain to get down to that lower temperature. But yes, I love your part of the world. I lived in Michigan for 18 years, and falls and spring and even summer are beautiful. It's just not the winters I'm not big a fan of. But anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm in Dallas right now. So, well, let's do this. I don't want to take. I know you've got some amazing story to tell, and I want to get right into that and talk about your story. So, for the audio audience, we're going to hear a little bit of our theme song. It's Not the Getting There Again by Ricky Jean Wright. And we'll be right back to hear Tom's story on the second segment of this Warrior versus Zombie podcast. All right, we are back. And Tom, I'm really excited. We've just gotten to know each other. This platform has been amazing for connecting to people all over the world, and I'm excited to get to know you. And I've already had the opportunity to share with your audience on your show. But tell me, how did you get from where you started to where you are today? And then we'll get into today in the next segment.
Okay. Um, how did I get to where I am today? Where did I start? I started out as um, part of my story was as I have learning disabilities,
Okay.
and that was always hampered me when I was as a child. And we develop ourselves and our beliefs on our capabilities at early ages. So when I was a youngster, I won't mention the teacher's name just for the privacy, but my second grade teacher, third grade teacher, she'd always have us come up to the board and write a problem or do a math problem or write a sentence out or whatever the case may be. I'm audio dyslexia, so I hear, I can see it, but translating it to writing is a big problem for me. And I always thought I was not as smart as my classmates.
Mm-hmm.
They used to make fun of me. One day, the teacher, she got a little upset with me because she had to repeat herself about probably 4 or 5 times with the question that she wanted me to answer on the board. And I just froze. And she made this comment, "Tommy, are you stupid or something?" I mean, she just lost it. And it's those little things that imprint, and it validated what I thought about myself. So I always never thought of myself as being smart enough to really compete academically, and held me back. So I excelled in athletics, in football, had opportunities to Division I scholarships throughout the country, and got injured. So those all went away. Went to work in the grocery industry in I'm from California originally, born and raised there. Now live in Wisconsin, but went to work like anybody else. Got married, had a couple children early in my life, and got involved in the labor union movement. I was a contract negotiator on the labor side. And one day I was sitting with one of my colleagues in the warehouse where I worked, and we're just sitting there watching people, the habits that people have. It was like clockwork. Every day they came in exactly the same time, did the exact same punch in, went and sat in the same place, talked to the same people. And I remember Al telling me this. He says, "Tom, do you want to be like this another 20 or 30 years?" And that was that awakening. No, I did not want to be part of that, what I was witnessing there. So that caused me to do some work on myself. What do I really want to do? A friend of mine was in financial services. Tom, he says, "Here's a great opportunity." So I looked at the company, made that commitment, and 9 months later, I left that position. People thought I was crazy because I had a career path carved out for me, pretty much handpicked person. It would have had a very secure retirement picture, but I elected to go into business for myself at that time for 29 years with the AO organization. Today it's Primerica. Worked my way up the ranks to a VP. Basically what that means is I earned the right to own my own business, my own agency within the company. And in my early journey, what really turned me around and helped me understand why I achieved the #1 ranking in the company had nothing to do with my intellect or my knowledge. At first, I thought it was. Your ego gets in the way, one of those zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But what it was my mentor in the business encouraged us, not encouraged us, actually required us to read this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Every Thursday in our management meeting, we would go through the principles, we do our writing, we do our visions and our goals and all that. And through that period of time, I was moving up the ranks in productivity and that. And I just thought it was me. And in reality, when Richard left to start World Financial, that discipline went away. And guess what happened? My productivity and my rankings diminished equally. So it wasn't until about 8 years ago did I realize that this book was the reason I was succeeding at those high levels. Personal development, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Since then, with my background in financial services, wanting to help people better understand how to win with money, I kept seeing the behavior side come up, the belief system about their relationship with money. Am I worthy to have that type of asset? Am I capable of doing that? All those questions come in to the picture. So I sought out how do I change behaviors in relationship with money? I ran across Bob Proctor, prosperity coach. If anybody knows Bob Proctor, he's an amazing person. He really changed my life because he studied this book. This was what got him to where he was at, was applying these principles. And through that process, interfacing with other great coaches and mentors within this industry, I've got a clear perspective of what it takes to win in life, not just in business, in life. It's called a lot of people talk about goals and your purpose and your why and that. But what I come to find out, goals don't work by themselves.
Right.
They just don't work by themselves. You got to have something bigger in life to change your behaviors, to give you the disciplines necessary to accomplish what you're looking for. This is what I learned from one of my own clients. I'll give credit where credit's due. Terrell Hunt, former quarterback for Syracuse University, was slated to be a number 1 draft choice in the NFL. He ruptured his Achilles tendon in his senior year, the first quarter of the first game of that season. That wiped out all his hopes, dreams, and aspirations. He'd worked his entire youth to get to that. He's a fantastic athlete, but more importantly, a fantastic individual. But his whole network fell apart on him because people were looking at riding his shirt tail on his success. And we've heard those stories before. And he found me through LinkedIn and started coaching on these principles with Bob Proctor. But he brought me to the awareness when we got into setting our goals. He says, have you ever heard of Dr. Miles Monroe? And I hadn't at that point. So he said, I'd encourage you to go to a YouTube channel, look up The Power of Vision. And I watched that video, picked up his book. It changed everything on how I set my goals, purpose in life, is that vision. And in that, goals don't work. Goals are just the processes you use to accomplish the vision of what you want, the outcome. Here's the thing with our subconscious. When we have a goal, our subconscious recognizes we haven't obtained it yet. And so our belief system, we have to increase our belief system. We have to visualize we obtained it before we get it. And our behavior changes, our motivation, our desires change because we visualize that we have it before we obtain it. And goal, that's where most people fail, is they set out for a goal. The first obstacle that gets in the way is most people either give up totally or they downsize what they really want in their life. But when you get a clear vision, and I'll go back to my first mentor, Art Williams, sat with him on his yacht off the coast of Georgia. And he says, Tom, what's your crusade? What are you willing to die for? What is your purpose in life? And that sort of gave me a clear vision of what I want to do with my life. How can I impact other people's lives? It's that crusade, that vision, that warrior mentality. And having a vision, this is what I learned from Dr. Miles Monroe, it makes life easeful because it helps you organize who you hang out with, what books you read, what TV programs you watch. It dictates everything. If it doesn't align with your vision, it's easy to put it aside. So it's a great filter. And that's what I learned when I grasped that concept and just retweaked what Bob Proctor was teaching some other people and just clarified that for myself, the vision, my desire to accomplish something before I own it. I already own all the success that I visioned. And by doing that, I've changed all my behaviors, my work ethic, everything falls in line with that vision.
So let me ask you a couple questions here around your journey. First of all, I will say that we're totally aligned on that. In fact, I'm known as the vision warrior. We talked about this on your show. And, I believe in creating a vision of, if anything were possible, and oh, by the way, everything's possible. What is the impact I want to have? What does the future look like? What does my ideal day look like? And then as you say, you're living within that, but you then have the goals, if you want to call them that, are really mile markers on your bridge from the future, not to the future. In other words, you're saying, okay, I've got to shore up these things. So you work your way back. So totally in agreement with you there. Let me ask you this. So you were a labor negotiator when you moved to, into like A.L. Williams or WFG or whatever were there any challenges that occurred there? Tell me about that. Any zombies that showed up in the process of because those are pretty major moves, right? Moving from, going through college or going through school and having the learning challenges, and then moving into a labor negotiations mode, and then kind of realizing that, I didn't want to get to the end of the road with being there or doing that for 40 years or whatever it was. So I kind of get all that. But any major zombies that occurred along the road that kind of showed up along those inflection points?
Yeah, looking back on it, I'm able to clearly identify why I always plateaued, why I hit a ceiling. And that
Mm-hmm.
was my own self-sabotaging, that zombie. It was my
Right.
my worthiness and relationship with money. See, my parents grew up poor. They grew up in the Depression era. Anything about money was always lack. And so money was never a real positive thing. It was other
Mm-hmm.
people that had money. We were meant to struggle and all that. So my relationship with money. So when I started having great success and I was making, in the eyes of my peers and those that my family and friends and all that, I was doing pretty well in relationship to the norms out there.
Sure.
But I always stalled out. I never hit my highest potential. I just thought maybe that I just exerted all my talents and my wisdom and knowledge and whatever, and just that was where it's going to take me. But it was years later when I met Bob Proctor, when I met with him and he was asking me some questions about my relationship with money. And I recognized the reason I always stopped there, my belief system wasn't strong enough to have more wealth. And so we worked on creating an affirmation, a vision of what that looks like. To this day, I still read my affirmations that we worked out together to increase my belief system that I am worthy of making X.
Right.
So that was my first big challenge. Wonder why I always stall. I never hit the highest. Every time you keep hitting to the ceiling, and then you never get past it. What's going on? I didn't have the answer. I didn't realize until a number of years later when I started studying myself and what was my belief system. And it dealt back to me being a child, not believing I was smart enough. And number two, my relationship with money, my environment. I grew up with my parents. They did a wonderful job raising us, instilled some great disciplines and work ethics, those type of things. But when it came to money, we were meant to struggle. That was their attitude. And so I made it a point to struggle with money, not making as much as I was capable of making. So
Yeah, I totally get. There's so many things along there in our stories where we can I can relate to. I have 5 kids, and my middle daughter had a learning difference, and was told, when she was in 8th grade, that she wouldn't graduate with her class. And I said, no, that's not, but it was not that she was not intelligent. It was just that she didn't fit into that learning mode that the school, and it was a private school. It was one that we actually I invested in a program at that school that she was the first graduate of, that enabled her to graduate with her class, and as things work out. So I can relate to that zombie. And then, as you point out, those limiting beliefs, that mindset, is probably the most powerful and the most challenging zombie that people can encounter along the road. Is just, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not struggling. What's wrong? You're trying to seek a norm that doesn't serve you. So I totally relate to that. Well, anything else before we get into what you're doing today? Any other challenges or zombies you've overcome? You've overcome a lot.
the one about my intellect, you don't go out into the financial service industry without some sort of intellect. You have to pass exams and securities and real estate and all these type of programs. So it had nothing to do with that. That's when I started recognizing I'm smart enough to do this thing. But then it came out to my self-sabotage, reading my fullest potential, always tied to the amount of money I was making. So I always stayed at one level economically for years. Today, I don't have that same vision or outlook about money.
Yeah. Since
My
I
whole
met you,
circle of people I hang with is totally different as well.
Well, that's an
myself to be
important
a
one. Yeah,
multimillionaire.
yeah.
Now I hang around with multimillionaires and a couple billionaires. So they think differently. They have different set of zombies working for them. So
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. Is once you realize and have that vision of where you're going, then you seek alignment for people that are further down the path, on that path, and you can see it, right? You can begin, and then the people that would maybe hold you back or were more comfortable, let's put it that way, with you when you were at a certain income level, all of a sudden they're not so comfortable anymore. They're and then they want to kind of pull back. I've heard the analogy of the crabs in a bucket, that kind of thing, right? And then nobody wants you to leave. So so surrounding yourself with people that are pulling you up, as you point out, people that are people that you would aspire to, Sherpas, if you will, down the road, that already know how to get to from where you are to where they are and beyond, right? And that's a beautiful thing. Well, let's do this. We can come, if there's anything missed in your story, but let's take another quick break. We'll hear another snippet of our theme song, It's Not the Getting There by Ricky Jean Wright. And then we'll come back and I want to hear about why you're doing what you're doing today.
okay.
All right, we are back. Tom, you did a great job. You got through what I know is a pretty involved and lengthy story, and we got through that. And so now I know that the audience wants to hear kind of where your focus is today. We hit on it a little bit in the formal introduction at the beginning, but tell me, why are you doing what you're doing today?
It always goes back. Everything I've done and had success in comes down to one common element: is how can I improve somebody's life, whether it be financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, whatever. So anything I've done and I focus on that, how can I help somebody? That's where I've had the greatest success. So my new is not new. It's going on 3 years now. My association with ASEA, which is a scientific breakthrough redox signaling molecules. It's a brand new field of science. It's the most studied area of health science today in the world. Every major university studying redox signaling molecules, what they do in our health. They did something science said couldn't be done, to stabilize these molecules outside the body, because our body makes them, and they're the essence of our cellular life and health. And so my wife and I have a wellness. My wife's an entrepreneur as well, so that makes my life that much easier. Both of us thinking in the same terms of vision, purpose, and whys, taking control of our own future, being in business for ourselves. So that's been a blessing. Matter of fact, this weekend's our 35th wedding anniversary. We're going away this weekend for 4 days, a cabin on a lake up here in Wisconsin called Devil's Lake.
Oh, yeah.
We're just looking to get away to in Devil's Lake State Park. One of Kathy's clients has a home, offered us to have the house for the weekend.
Oh.
So I'm so grateful for that. But a colleague of mine is a hospital consultant out in New Jersey. I get a call from him. He says, we had been battling around on different ideas. He was in a consort. I had a business, a consulting company to help businesses better understand how to manage their line items in their running their business, where to cut costs, how to cut them, and without reducing the levels of service. And each one of us had expertise. So Drew worked in the health industry, and when he found out that we had a wellness industry, in a wellness center, he says, "What do you know about redox signaling molecules?" I said, "Nothing." So he says, "You need to know about it. This is going to be the wave in the future in how people manage their health in the nutritional area." So I looked at it, did my due diligence, and started using the product. Had some very significant benefits. I have chronic arthritic knees. I could hardly walk up and down stairs. I started taking the product, using the topical as well as the liquid, as the pain, I wouldn't say went away 100%, diminished significantly down to a 1 or 2 pain threshold daily, to where it was a chronic pain. So I had a testimonial with it. We started using it in the center and started seeing some amazing results with people's health issues with this product. So I made that commitment. I shut down my other businesses to do ASEA, because our greatest wealth is our health. And if we don't manage that, it doesn't make a difference how much money you have in this life. Or if you don't have health, you can't pursue it. You can't run after it. You can't do the heavy lifting necessary if you don't have health. So I made a commitment 3 years ago to market that. It's a network marketing company, but I focus on the benefits of the product, and it does develop an opportunity for the right person within that. So that's my main focus in my businesses as a business, a network marketing company, ASEA. In that process, I was introduced to some other people that growth is changing your circles. I was introduced to Ken Walls, who has an academy called Grow Live Academy, live streaming and social media, how to do that effectively with video like we're doing today. And so I took his program. I started live streaming. My first program that I started live streaming was on the personal development side for branding and those type of things, called G-Force. It had nothing to do with my name. G stands for gratitude. Gratitude, I believe, is one of the strongest principles we have. They stay in a state of positive emotional state. Is because you can't hold a negative and a positive thought at the same time. So we go to gratitude, no matter what it is, it changes, it makes us happy or gives us joy in any situation. What are we grateful for today? If you're having a bad day, just stop and say, what am I grateful for today?
Right.
Just notice, what you feel when you go to that place. I'm so grateful for my beautiful, loving wife who supported me all these years. You got to have a why in that. And notice how you feel. You can change how you're feeling just like that by going to state of gratitude. So I created a program, and I would do talks, and I was using the reference book of Robert A. Emmons, Gratitude Works, and it's an amazing principles. It's a very powerful principle if one applies it and learns it to stay in a state of positiveness. So people always ask you, how are you doing today? And I respond back with this: it's the best day of my life. And it gets people to stop and reflect. What'd you do? Just hit the lottery or what? So, but you think about it, this moment is the most important part of my life, right? This moment, not what's coming, what happened yesterday, this moment, because how I deal with it now is going to determine what's going to happen in the future, 100%. So I'm so grateful for this moment. And I get people to stop and think, this is the best day of my life. And so I'm grateful for this moment. So
I love that.
I started live streaming with that. One of my business colleagues, he's also associated with the BeeKonnected and a couple of my other enterprises that I've been associated with. We do a program every Monday night called Elevate Your Profits, which you were a guest on, and Mark Gassert and I. And it's all about helping people better understand what it takes to win, not just in business, from the mindset to the bank account. And so we've had some very influential people come in, talk, share their wisdom, their knowledge. So my whole goal and objective is circle myself with people that are succeeding at levels that I aspire to meet, and then invite them in to share their wisdom to my audience. And because my goal is that if I can impact one person on every show, I'm fulfilling my vision in life, is impacting people's lives. So that's my second program. Because my wife and I are in the health arena, I started a third live streaming program called Own Your Own Health, to break down the myths of alternative healthcare, holistic healthcare, whatever that is, because there's a lot of myths out there, and our system is not designed to support a lot of things that have scientific validation. And so I interview people that could be in the holistic area, it could be nutrition, it could be psychological, it could be a lot of different things to help people better understand. Don't take for granted what the institution tell you should be doing. Do your own research. You own your own health. Make those decisions for yourself, and just be educated. So I started my third program, and after I started my third program, I get a call from a friend of mine here in the Milwaukee area. She is associated with the BeeKonnected, using the platform. She's unique to see this platform. because you're live streaming, you're doing these type of meetings, that type of
Mhm.
thing. She shared it with me. Of course, I go, this makes sense compared to what I was doing. Me being a financial guy, easiest dollar made in business is a dollar saved.
Sure.
So I looked at all the things I was spending money, and how can I cut $300 to $400 a month out of my budget and move to this platform, and still learning it. And but it just offers so much more. So I said, yeah, I really like this platform. So I became associated as an affiliate, because I'm all about affiliate program. I use different tools in my businesses. If they're working for me, I share them with other business. And by the way, if they take advantage of it, I get a little paycheck.
Sure.
That's not my business. I believe in residual passive income is how you build sustainable wealth long term. And if you have the right products and services, but it's always something I use myself. I can stand up for it, back it up based on my experience. And so I became an affiliate, started using the platform myself. And of course, the introduction to the players in the business led to some of the other opportunities.
Sure.
So I jumped all in. I missed the big one back in the day, UPS. My wife's brother was one of the original IT people at UPS. And Catherine had just gotten married. And he says, hey, if you got 10 grand, I'd highly encourage you buy some UPS stock. It's going public. Who had that inside trader?
Yeah.
Going, you know. And today I didn't have it. I didn't have two nickels rubbed together at that time. So I missed that opportunity. Today, Fred is probably six-digit millionaire because of that. So when this opportunity came up, I says I'm not going to miss this one. So thank God, with the blessings of my wife and her diligence and her disciplines of savings and living frugally, we had the money to do some things with the company. So we have, when this thing hits its beginning of its potential, there's a sense of, not a sense, there'll be a reality of financial security and financial prosperity that I never thought would happen in my life. So, so I'm taking advantage of it. So, and then what I plan on doing there when the company collectively, we working together like yourself, Dave, we start hitting those numbers. My goal is to give back.
Sure.
Got some causes I want to support because I've always had a passion for kids that have been abused, sex trafficking, those type of things. I got time I can give, but that's not enough. I want to be able to contribute financially. So I've got some causes that I will dedicate the earnings from this platform to help support. Those causes are important to me. So
that's incredible. I love it. I really do. I think that, again, it's always amazing. That's one of the things about this platform, and then the people that I've met and BeeKonnected. First of all, it's, we're in 122 countries, right? But we're with our connection generator, the AI that we use, basically, it tends to align you with people that are very much on the same page, and it's always almost a daily awakening to me to realize how many people that I resonate with that actually but I think it makes sense, because there are people here that are going to build this community and take it forward. So so what I'm getting is your desired impact is to really continue to bless people, not only in financial means, but wellness means with the ASEA and the other things. And it's like, I love what you said about the only thing you can do is today, is right now. I mean, as I always say, the past is the past and the future is on God's calendar. And all I've got is right now to make the changes that I can make. And then if I make the right changes as we're moving forward, then, I can basically define my destiny rather than just let my history become my destiny. So I just love that. Anything else, or we're gonna
I'm going to go back to something when we close out that first segment. Was as you change your circle, and this type of platform, doing interviews and live streaming and
Sure.
bringing other people of like mind so they can share their story. It's not about my story. It's about their story. People want to share their story. And that's the bond, is that they resonate, that they have a cause, that you support their cause, and they're willing to share that cause in as well. Here's the most important thing: to change your circle. I get a clear vision of the attributes of the people that you say, that's a person that I would like to have piece of their wisdom, their knowledge. And don't be afraid to the key here is go ask them for help.
Right.
And you'll build, and then that's what I find about doing this live streaming, the relationships that you meet. I ended up interviewing the last person ever coached by Napoleon Hill.
Wow.
Benjamin Gay III, 25 years old, was running Holiday Magic, and they wanted to make sure this 25-year-old didn't flush it down the toilet. And so they hired Napoleon Hill. He worked with him for 4 years, all about getting focused, because Ben he's sort of like me. He's ADHD. He could be here 1 second, his mind's going 20,000 places, but getting him to focus in. And so I interviewed him. And he ended up becoming a business associate of mine as well, and a CF. So you never know how these collaborations, people fall in line with what your vision is. I had no intention to recruit him, but he loved what we were doing, how I positioned my cause. He looked into it and he says, I'm all in. So you never know how this type of platform builds those relationships, help people build your cause. You got to be willing to help build other people's cause. So you're running synergies and collaboration that are parallel with everybody. That's the key.
Awesome. Well, let's do this, Tom. We got to land the plane here. So we're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, I want you to kind of bring it all. We've talked about an amazing number of things, a lot of warrior nuggets, as I say. But when we come back, if we take away one thing, I want you to share that. So let's take another quick break here. Final segment before the outro of It's Not the Getting There. And we'll be right back with Tom Ginn and Warrior versus Zombie. All right, Tom, what a wild journey we've had so far. So as I said before the break, if we take away anything, there's a lot of things, a lot of value that you've given me. If we take away anything from this discussion, this podcast, this show, what would you want us to take away?
I'll go back to the vision. Is when you have a clear mental picture of the outcome that you seek, you're emotionally tied to it. It creates a desire that disciplines. Get a clear mental picture for that. I believe in vision boards. When I first was exposed to vision boards, I thought that's woo-woo, this or that. But UCLA did a study on vision boards. 80% of the people had vision boards accomplished 90% of everything that was on that board. The house, the car, the vacations, whatever they put on that vision board. Because because we think in pictures, it just reestablished at an emotional level, the picture imprinted in their brain, in their mind. So get a clear mental picture of it. Affirmations are great. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning X. You got to be very clear. You got to be emotionally tied to it. That's what Bob Proctor got me to do. When he realized I had a lack mentality, we created a vision statement that says, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning X amount of dollars from multiple sources of income, and it reinforced I am worthy and those type of things. I read that for 30 straight days, 5 minutes every day in front of a mirror. And at the end of that 30 days, there was no doubt that I was going to accomplish everything that I said I was going to be able to do. It's a belief system. So have a vision, follow the leadership of those that are succeeding in a big way. You'll find out people that read Think and Grow Rich, or these other people, they apply the principles. Success leaves a roadmap. You don't have to go out and reinvent the wheel. Just find out what they're doing and just do what they do.
Absolutely.
Is it easy? No, it just takes discipline. But if your dream and vision is strong enough, nothing's going to get in your way.
Awesome. That is just awesome. Thank you, Tom. That was amazing. So how do I know we're doing this live on the BeeKonnected platform, and we've talked about that already, so people can find you. And Thomas Ginn or Tom Ginn is on BeeKonnected. I found you there. Other people are finding you there. But where else? Any other website? Anything else that we to look for you?
I think the best place is through the BeeKonnected platform. Thomas Ginn, do the connection generator. You'll find me, connect with me. I'll confirm that, and then encourage you to. I've got 4 different groups in the BeeKonnected platform, so there might be one that'd be more relevant to what you're seeking out. So,
okay, beautiful. Well, thank you, Tom. It's been great. I really, really appreciate you serving our audience today. It's been an awesome journey. And so we're going to have to land the plane. It's always hard to do. I love these conversations. But we'll be back next week with another episode of Warrior versus Zombie, and we'll hear the final outro of our theme song. And thank you again, Tom.
My pleasure. Thank you.